You owe me, Chloe screamed, her palm slamming against the white tablecloth hard enough to make the crystal wine glasses gem. You owe me everything and you treat me like garbage. The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating the chatter of 30 relatives gathered for my mother's 60th birthday. Forks froze midair, my aunt's laugh died in her throat. Every eye at the long banquet table turned toward us, or rather, toward Chloe, who was standing over me, her face flushed a blotchy, indignant red. I didn't stand up, I didn't raise my voice. I carefully placed my silverware on the edge of my plate, aligning the knife perfectly parallel to the fork. I took a slow sip of the Pinot Noir I had paid for, letting the silence stretch until it became uncomfortable for everyone but me. Is that so? I asked, my voice terrifyingly level. Yes, she hissed, emboldened by the lack of immediate pushback. You think you're better than everyone because you have money. But you forget who was there for you. You owe me. For years, I had played the role of a dutiful, silent bank. I was a golden child who made it big in fintech. And Chloe was a free spirit who couldn't hold a job for more than 3 months. My parents had begged me to keep the peace. She's your sister. They would say, it's just a loan. They would lie. I had swallowed the insults, the passive-aggressive comments, and the endless requests for help because I thought that was what family did. But tonight, in a rented banquet hall that cost more than Chloe made in a year, something inside me snapped. It wasn't a loud snap. It was a quiet click of a vault door locking shut. I looked up at her, my expression bored. Okay, Chloe, since we have the whole family here as witnesses, let's clear the ledger. You say I owe you, explain it to them, be specific. Chloe blinked. She hadn't expected an invitation to speak. She had expected me to cower or write a check to make her stop yelling. I mean emotionally, she stammered, glancing around the room. I supported you when you were starting out. I was a good sister. Emotionally, I repeated. Tasting the word like spoiled milk, I reached into my jacket pocket and pulled out my phone. Let's look at the math, shall we? Put that away, my mother hissed from the head of the table. Don't do this here. No, I said, cutting my mother off without looking at her. Chloe brought it up. She wants to talk about what is owed. So let's talk. I unlocked the screen and opened our banking history. August 12th. Rent assistance because you quit your barista job, $2,000. September 4th. Car repairs for the Jetta I bought you, $800. October 1st. Emergency vet bill for the dog you adopted against my advice, $1,500. I scrolled down, reading the dates and amounts in a monotone voice. Like a judge reading a verdict, the room was deathly quiet. My uncle looked down at his shoes. My cousins looked at Chloe with wide eyes. In the last 24 months alone, I have transferred $42,000 to your account, Chloe, I said, finally setting the phone down. That is the average annual salary for a teacher in this state. I have effectively paid you a full-time wage to be my sister, and yet, here you are, screaming that I owe you. Chloe's face had gone from red to a sickly pale. She gripped the back of her chair. It's not about the money. You're so cold. You don't care about family. I care enough to fund it. I countered. But you're right. It shouldn't be about the money. So let's remove the money from the equation. I stood up then. The scrape of my chair against the floor sounded like a gunshot. I held out my hand, palm open. The car keys, I said. What? Chloe stepped back, clutching her purse. The Jetta, it's in my name. I pay the insurance. I pay the lease. If I owe you so much, surely you wouldn't want to drive a car paid for by such a terrible brother. Give me the keys. You can't be serious, she whispered. How am I supposed to get home, Uber? I suggested. But you'll have to link your own card. I canceled the secondary platinum card you've been carrying about 5 minutes ago. Right under the table while you were screaming. Panic, real and raw, flooded her eyes. She looked to our parents for help. But my father was fiercely studying the menu, and my mother was weeping silently into her napkin. They knew. They knew I had reached the limit, and they knew that if they defended her now, the financial tap would run dry for them. To dock Chloe threw the keys onto the table. They landed with a heavy clatter. Next to the centerpiece. I hate you, she spat, tears finally spilling over. I know, I said calmly. But at least now you can hate me for free. I picked up the keys and signaled the waiter. I handed him my black card to cover the entire banquet bill, my final act of obligation to this family. Enjoy the cake, I told the room. I'm taking my car back. I walked out of the banquet hall and into the cool night air. Behind me, I could hear the murmurs erupting, the sound of a family shattering under the weight of truth. I walked to the Jetta, unlocked it, and got in. The seat was adjusted wrong, and the radio was tuned to a station I hated. I fixed the seat. I changed the station. And for the first time in my life, I drove away owing absolutely nothing to anyone.